Welcome to episode number 13 of the Eavesdrop podcast, the Christmas Eavesdrop podcast. Today's Monday, the 24th, Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve, Judith.
Merry Christmas.
Today we are with arguably my favorite guest of all time, my wife, Judith Rodriguez, also known as Jude, also known as the mother of doggos, not dragons, but doggos, because she has 7 dogs. And I say she has 7 dogs because she's the ones that takes.
I take care of them.
You take care of them. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What do I do? What don't I do? How do I help in the household?
You don't. You don't. I do everything for the dogs.
Yeah.
Everything. I feed them. You take them out. Mm-hmm. So I'll say that. I usually take them out. I take them to the groomers. I walk them.
Is it tough to take Henry to the groomers?
Yeah. I have to use your car.
Okay, so just to give you guys, if you guys don't know, we have 7 dogs: Scofield, Oliver, Louie, Henry. We forgot to talk about, okay, so Henry, Benji, Pablo, Coco, and Basher. That's I'm pointing up in the air because she's got cartoon frames from somebody who made them on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Anyway, this is my wife, Judith. Judith, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You're the top 5 most requested person to come on the podcast. So obviously it was an easy sort of like thing for me to facilitate because you were here at home, and we were supposed to do it yesterday, but and I don't want to speak for you.
You're right.
So Judith is not really on camera ever. Yeah. Ever. Is there a reason for that?
I don't say anything. I can't speak in front of cameras. Like, I go blank. I know.
That's the weirdest thing because it'd be 3 a.m. and you just, not.
I know. And on my Instagram stories too, I'm like, I start talking. But,
just pretend that this is an Instagram story, baby.
But I know in the Instagram stories, I don't show my face.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Yeah. Well, you're not showing your face right now. Well, you are. Well, there's people listening, so they can't see you.
Right. That's true.
Anyway, let's welcome to episode number 13. Judith, who are you today?
Who am I today? That's a horrible question to ask.
I ask that to every single guest.
Who am I today? I am your wife. We are in Texas. I am a mother of 7 dogs and a daughter.
Why'd you say it in that order? Most people
I don't know. House manager.
Yeah, see,
I feel like.
Yeah, there you go.
Doing all the house stuff.
This house?
This house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else are you? I think you're like a realtor also. You're finding our family's homes and all that stuff.
Yep.
Because you helped everybody move. One of the conditions of Judith moving down here was that everybody had to come with. Everyone. Yeah.
Your family, my whole family.
Yeah.
And we all moved down here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everyone. How many families total?
I'm not sure. 6, 7?
6 or 7 people.
Yeah.
And we helped everybody, both financially and to get down here. Yeah. So for everyone that's listening, every Monday this show goes live on iTunes, Spotify, I forget, SoundCloud. Okay, up to. So it goes on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, so every single audio platform that you can think of. We are live and syndicated to that. Mainly here on YouTube is where everybody comes to converse and have the conversational topics. At the end of the podcast, we're gonna take questions from the public, which you will be answering mostly. Now, I want to preface the podcast by saying that a lot of people have heard this story from me, and the reason that I wanted to have Judith on, and the real reason why a lot of people wanted to have Judith on the podcast was so she can give her behind the scenes view of how OpTic came to be. But more than anything, we're here to have a good time. We're going to talk about a relationship. We've been together for 17 years. How long have we been married for, though? I don't know either. What was it? 2013, 2014?
I don't remember.
2016, 15. I don't even know. And I don't feel bad because she doesn't remember either.
I don't really care about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like we've just been together for 17 years.
Yeah.
And I think that is more.
Do you think that we're soulmates?
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So to get, for those of you who are listening on the podcast, we're on audio only. We are in Judith's workspace. It is very nicely decorated, Judith. Very, very nice. If Maddie could do a nice little, B-roll of this over this would be very nice. But yeah, we're in her office. Liv has her own little gaming station. Judith has everything here that pretty much is everything that is you, right? The mother of the best 9-year-old that I've ever met, and obviously the best dogs that I have ever had, in my opinion. Obviously they're mine, so I'm almost forced to say that. But really quickly, how did we come to have 7 dogs? And so you guys know, did I already say in this did I say in this podcast what dogs they are?
No, I don't think so.
So we have 1, 2, 3 Chihuahuas, 1 Bichon Frise. Bichon with a B. Yeah. Bichon Frise, a Pomeranian, which is the yappiest, most annoying dog in the world, in my opinion. Lulu. Come here. No, he's cool. He's in his little cave.
Yeah.
We have a Great Dane Mastiff, which weighs 197 pounds, and then we have Benjamin Pablo. How?
Benji Pablo.
How? And you might hear a snore in the background. It's Henry sleeping under the desk where we're sitting.
That's right.
They're always sitting at Jude's feet.
Well, we started with 2 dogs, and we had 2 dogs for a very long time. We never even thought about getting more dogs when we had Ani and Chochi.
I certainly didn't.
No, we just never thought of it. And then Ani passed away. And after Ani passed away, Chochi was really alone. So he started almost like a depression. So he started having seizure type activity.
Yeah.
He didn't know what he was doing. He would
walk backwards into a corner, right? He would walk
backwards into corners. So when that all started happening, I thought of he needs somebody. He needs a friend.
Yeah.
And Chochi was always the dog that kind of followed Ani. So Ani was the leader. Ani was the alpha.
Yeah.
Ani would bark at the door when he wanted to go outside. Ani would touch the bowl when he wanted water.
Yeah.
When there was no water.
Yeah.
So then Chochi was always a follower.
Yeah.
And Chochi always followed Ani around. So when he started having seizures, we thought they were seizures. We didn't know what it was, to be honest. We took him to the vet. We took him to a medical
Were they seizures?
place.
Do we know to this day what they were?
We had an MRI done on him too.
Yeah.
And they said it was seizure-like activity. So I'm thinking his depression
was
triggering seizure-like activity.
Yeah.
So they gave him seizure medication.
Yeah.
Which I barely used on him. But we knew that he was lonely.
Yeah.
He was lonely. He was sad. He missed Ani. So all this kind of happened really
fast. Because his whole
fast.
life he had Ani as his brother or uncle. He was a literal uncle.
He looked up to him.
Yeah.
He loved him.
You say he looked up to him as a...
No,
hey,
he
Liv,
did. He loved him.
You want to say hi to the vlog real quick?
I guess.
Or actually to the podcast.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Hello. Say hi.
You having fun?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
You're just having fun
bored?
out there?
Kinda
You're bored a little bit?
Yeah, she's bored.
You're taking a nap, weren't you? All right, here.
Okay.
We're going to do the podcast. We'll be out there in a little bit, okay? Say bye. Say bye to the podcast.
Bye.
You're playing with your Switch?
No, she's just bored.
What's your favorite game right now?
Super Smash Bros.
Super Smash Brothers?
Is it Super Smash Brothers?
Is
or
Super
Bros?
Smash Brothers... Well, Bros is an abbreviation of brothers.
Well...
I call them the Mario Brothers, not the Mario Bros. Although I do call my brother Bro, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And so she likes if the camera keeps moving around, just know that it's Henry's big paws just moving around.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit of story about how you went on a walk with them just recently, and you dropped it like it was hot.
No, we were talking about...
Oh, animal. Yes, I'm hopping around. Sorry.
Yes, we were talking about
Shut up.
Scofield. So he was sick, and then so we knew we wanted to get him another friend. So then that's when it was a little bit of time after Ani passed away.
Yeah, and that's when we got who?
We got Oliver.
Yeah.
So I saw him at a breeder's, and he had the same birthday as Olivia. He's a black Chihuahua like Ani.
Yeah.
And
Did you think, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just going to replace, well, not replace, but like
no.
sort of like a,
No, I just thought it was meant to be because it was
Her birthday.
her birthday. He was born 11/19.
yeah.
And we got Oliver.
You know, it's crazy. I was having, you don't know this obviously because as you know, I bottle everything in. But when Animal passed away, I was a little bit, I think I don't know what depression is or how it feels, but I remember crying in the back. Every time I took a shower, I would like cry privately. Because he meant so much for me. Obviously he got both of us together. So yeah, he meant a lot to me. So you want to talk about how we met before we get going on everything else?
All the rest of the dogs.
Yeah, please. Let's go in chronological order. So we'll start with Animal. Yes, and then we'll start. We won't start with Animal. Go on. Sorry.
So basically, we always knew each other since middle school through a mutual friend, Carlos.
Silos.
Yes, Carlos, and he went to my school at one point, and then he went to
what
your
high school did you go to?
I went to Prospect.
Prospect High School.
In Mount Prospect.
Illinois. Woo. Yeah.
So then he went to my school for a little bit, and then he moved to your school for a little bit, and then he moved back to my school. So then we kind of just all kind of knew each other.
Yeah.
So I've always known you since middle school.
What did you think of me back then?
I didn't like you at all.
Handsome.
Thought you were rude.
Handsome, tall,
and very
professional basketball player. Super.
Very mean.
Yeah. What? Whoa. How? Mean how?
You always had a mean face.
Like what?
Like I always remembered you as the guy with the mean face.
Really? Very handsome
and
mean
rude.
face.
Rude.
How was I rude?
You always thought that was like cool.
I brought you pizza.
I don't even remember that, to be honest.
Okay, anyway.
I remember you standing in the apartment building.
Yeah.
But I don't remember you bringing me pizza.
But you thought I was rude? What made you think that?
Because of your face.
Yeah. What about my face?
Like you had like this mean face all the time.
Yeah.
You still have it
resting
sometimes.
bitch face?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
So...
But you didn't really like see me that much. That's weird for me to hear because
you would never smile.
I was always Mr. Popularity. Everybody loved me in high school.
I don't know how, because you weren't approachable.
My charm just didn't work on you at that time, but it worked later.
You weren't approachable.
It worked later.
But anyways.
Yeah.
So then we'd hang out and stuff. I'd hang out with Carlos, and then you'd be there sometimes. And then I'd see you then. And then long story short, I was hanging out with Carlos one day, and I told him that I wanted a dog because I just had recently saw Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
And
Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah. She carries a
chihuahua in her purse.
Chihuahua in her purse. So I wanted a chihuahua.
And then she becomes a fucking lawyer or something.
And I wanted to.
Really, really
And I wanted to carry one in my purse.
Yeah.
And Carlos had told me that you had mentioned to him that your aunt had chihuahuas and they had babies.
Yeah.
So then Carlos gave me your number. So I'm like, oh yeah, I remember him. So then Carlos gave me your number and I called you.
How psyched were you?
Not
you just wanted
about
a dog?
The dogs. I just wanted a chihuahua.
Go on.
So then I met up with you at your aunt's house and we saw the dogs. And I remember I didn't even want to pick Ani. I wanted to pick another one. And then you're like, pick Ani. He's the coolest one. And he really was the coolest one. He was just sitting there all alone by himself in the corner and all the other dogs were playing.
Yeah.
And then you told me to pick him and I did. I don't even know why. I listened to you.
It was all a plan.
Okay, so then I picked Ani. And then I took him home. And then you just kept calling me afterwards, asking me how the dog's doing.
I didn't care about the dog.
I know. I didn't know back then. I thought you were just literally calling me to see how the dog was doing. I thought you really, really cared about dogs.
At no point were you like, this dude's trying to holler.
No.
Like, this guy
no.
really, no?
No, because you would literally call me and ask me how the dog's doing, what is it doing?
Yeah.
And you would...
So a little bit of background. I've known Judith since she was like 15 or 14.
Like 14?
Yeah. So
13, 14?
Yeah. So at the time I was like 15, 16. 16, we're 2 years apart. So I always, thought that she was very, pretty, obviously. And I always used to tell her brother Leo, I'm like, yo, hook me up with your sister. And he'd be like, which one? And I'd be like, that one.
Oh yeah, because he was always friends with my brother.
Yeah, her brother Leo.
Yeah.
We met through our mutual friend Carlos. We played basketball like every single day and all that stuff. But you know, when she came around again, like later in life, when I was, I don't know, how old were we at the time when you got Ani? 20, 21?
I was 20.
So you were 20, I was 21 and a half.
It was November 2001.
Okay, so I was 21. Yeah. And I remember I'm like, ooh, here's my chance. I always liked her, you know what I'm saying? She always looked pretty. And let's see where it goes, in my opinion. So I kept on calling and asking like to see how the dog was going. But really, I was just trying to get you to listen to this voice, girl, you know? Mm-hmm. See how it works? I just got to say that.
No.
You're blushing.
I know. Okay. So then, yeah, you just kept calling me. Mm-hmm. And then we would hang out, like with Carlos and friends and do stuff. And then I would bring the dog around sometimes. Mm-hmm. And then you were there. Like, we used to go places and parties and stuff. And then I started liking you, but I didn't tell anybody at the time. Mm-hmm. And then I just told my friend.
What was it? What was it about me? My charm?
I liked your voice.
My voice.
I've always liked your voice. I even would tell you that you, like, your voice is something. Like, back when, like, we would talk on the phone for hours.
Yeah. So that's what we did back then. There was no AIM, no AIM chats.
There was AIM.
Was there?
Yeah, but it wasn't that. Yeah, it was AIM. There was AIM.
Okay. Okay, so, all right, go on. Sorry to interrupt you.
So then we were at a party, and we were just chilling. You didn't know anything, but I always had like a crush on you. Mm-hmm. But you were dating 2 other girls at the time. And I knew that. Mm-hmm. But I never was like, oh yeah, you know, it's probably not going to happen. And no, I
didn't really respect my relationship with 2 other women that I was dating simultaneously.
I didn't really think it was going to happen. Yeah. To be honest. Mm-hmm. Like, I had really bad luck with old boyfriends, so I kind of was like, oh, it's probably not going to happen.
We're not talking about your old boyfriends right now. Okay. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Okay. Totally kidding. We'll save that for 600 seconds.
Okay, so then, you know, we're at this party, and it was one of the girls that you were dating. I didn't even know you were dating that girl. Mm-hmm. And then she just came up to you, and she started kissing you. So then I'm like, okay, never mind. So I just kind of went the other way, and I just started drinking some more. Yeah. And I was like, yes, oh, well. And then I was there with my friend Rachel.
Yeah, so let me tell you. So she walks away. I remember her walking away, and I didn't think anything of it. You know, this girl had, you know, whatever. I wasn't really dating. I was just somebody that I was seeing. And I was seeing somebody in Chicago as well.
On the South Side.
Yeah. No. There's people that watch this from the South Side.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You always have to assume that somebody from somewhere, you know what I'm saying? That's how you keep it politically correct. Mm-hmm. You say, if I'm about to say something bad about someone, who's going to get offended? Then just don't say it.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, no, it's cool. You can say whatever you want, baby. Okay. Anyway, as Judith walks up and leaves, her friend Rachel like hits me in the knee. And
I was on the couch. I remember being on the couch.
Yeah, and you left.
Yeah, because you did it right in front of me.
I didn't do anything. I was having a conversation with you.
You didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the irresistible piece of meat that I am, she came and, you know, wanted a medium rare. You know what I'm saying? I was just kidding. Okay. Anyway, so her friend hits me in the knee, and then she's like, yo, why are you doing that in front of... Well, she doesn't talk like that. She was like, hey, why did you...
Yeah, my friend Rachel. Yeah.
She was like, hey, why are you doing that in front of Jude? Don't you know? It's like, she likes you a lot. And I was like, you know, how the DJ like pauses, like...
So you had no idea...
No, I had no idea because I've been hitting on you.
Like, you were seeing somebody from the South Side.
Yeah.
And I thought you liked girls from the South Side.
Yeah, but this girl was from the suburbs, the party.
I know. So I didn't know what you liked. So I was like, I don't know what this guy likes.
Yeah.
Like, there was times where I even like kind of dressed a little like...
Ghetto?
A little bit. I'm like, well, maybe he likes me if I dress a little ghetto. I remember wearing an Echo...
Yeah,
like my white Echo vest.
Yeah. No, I remember. I remember that. Yeah, you were very hip hop because you knew that I was always into hip hop.
I know, but I thought that maybe that's what you liked.
No, I didn't. I like short skirts.
I was like trying.
Yeah, no. Well, look,
and you didn't even notice.
I noticed you every single time you stepped into the room. Obviously, okay. You know, I've liked you since you were since we were young.
Okay.
But immediately when she says that, I was like, get the fuck. So the DJ stops the music. There was no DJ, but and like everything froze. I was just like, I didn't even look at her friend. And I don't know if the girl that I was with was still sitting on my lap or whatever. I remember just saying, I was like, I'll be right back. And I got up and I went straight for Jude, and she was talking to like 3 dudes who were calling, and they were trying to get her to go to another party. And I said, nope. So I reached, grabbed by the hand and walked away, because what the fuck were they gonna say to me, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I grabbed her, and then we started talking. Right we were talking, and then
We were just talking the whole night. I think you were just following me the whole night.
Like a.
I don't remember.
I was gonna say like a dog in heat, but that's super inappropriate, so I won't say it.
Very inappropriate.
Anyway, so I was following you around, humping your leg.
No, you were following me around, and then I didn't even notice that you were following me around. Mm-hmm. And then we were just hanging out, and then the girl, the party, that was her house.
Yeah,
it was her house party that
I remember
we were at.
You said that I kept on trying to get you cigarette or giving you cigarettes.
Yeah, you were giving me cigarettes. I kept asking for cigarettes. I don't know why.
And I would just magically appear them.
Yeah, they would just come.
Yeah, out of nowhere. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life.
So,
but you did, and you were like probably the first girl that I ever dated that smoked, because I cigarettes. I just never. That was just disgusting to me, so I just never did that. Anyway, so go on.
So we were at the party. You were hanging out with me, and then I remember the girl coming up to us and saying something like, "Are you with her?" I remember something like that, and then she kicked us out.
Yeah.
Of the party.
Yeah.
And then we left.
Yo, what if she thought that you were the girl from the South Side?
I don't know. Does she know?
I don't think so. Wait, does she know about the other girl?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I always kept it real with everybody.
Okay.
So, what am I afraid of, Okay. All right, so then what happens?
So then we leave. And we were in my 2001. So I literally just graduated 2000. And I had my 1996 Honda Civic. Pimped out.
Yeah, you had rims,
subwoofers in the trunk.
Yeah, so you kind of were from the South Side a little bit.
No, it's some nice. I think they were 17-inch rims.
Ooh, on a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Ooh, get it, girl.
I have a picture somewhere.
Hell yeah.
And then you ended up. We just left.
Do you remember what song was playing in the?
Yeah,
in the radio?
I had Britney Spears in my CD player. It wasn't on the radio. It was in my CD player.
For you. And then you screamed to the front, "Yo, put that shit on repeat."
I remember that.
It
was on repeat.
Yeah.
It kept playing,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
it did keep playing. Yeah.
And
then I don't know what happened after that.
You were feeling me up, girl, in the back. You're just very forward.
Yes.
And I appreciate you.
Yeah. And then we dropped you off?
No, what?
I think, yeah.
Oh, and then I said to you, I'm like, you better remember
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I'm like, because we were both drunk. And I'm like,
yeah.
And I didn't want to, take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
Which I probably could have.
Yeah.
Because you were feeling me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
been waiting for this moment since you were 14.
Yeah. No.
No. Anyway, so you dropped me off, and then the following day we go to the movies, and then we were inseparable from that point on.
We went to the movies. Do you remember what movie we saw?
Yeah. No. It was definitely
our first movie.
Our first movie was Vanilla Sky.
No.
Okay, wrong girl.
Yes, wrong girl.
Muhammad Ali.
Nope.
Okay, wrong girl. No, we saw Muhammad Ali together.
We did, but that was later on, I think.
The Will Smith one. Which one? What was our first movie?
Kate and Leopold.
Kate and Leopold.
And you still have the ticket. I saw it the other day in the safe.
I know, baby. I keep everything that's valuable to me.
I was going through the safe the other day looking for some papers. And
paper.
No. No. I found it in there. In your old wallet.
Yeah. Were you happy?
No.
Did it make you warm inside? Give you butterflies?
A little bit.
Hell yeah. Give me some. Don't turn away from the camera.
I know. I keep looking and I keep looking.
Well, don't worry about that camera. Just worry about that. Don't even worry about it. Just this is the eavesdrop.
Okay.
All right. So
that.
Yeah.
And then we just
inseparable.
Yeah.
Since then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got the dogs.
Yeah.
We have Scofield. Now Scofield, or Chochi as she was calling him, the guy that started having seizures. He was Animal's nephew, and he would sit next to me, like on my lap, not like next to my lap, since day one. Since I was playing 1v1s, Vosnik, in Call of Duty 2 for NX Gamers Ladders, and he and Animal were inseparable because they were blood related because he was an actual uncle, but it was obviously my dog and Animal was your dog.
Yeah, Chochi was yours. Chochi still he follows Hector around. Yeah. He loves you.
I'm gonna start taking him to the office.
That's good.
And no, Matt.
He's 12.
No, Matt, you can't bring Samsung to the office. Okay, this is not a work. It's not that type of workplace.
Why not?
Cause his dog sheds. Scofield fucking sheds.
Yeah, Scofield does shed. So that's why you have the cleaning people that come.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, but no, but yeah.
Yeah, you should. You should allow it.
So I am. How old is Scofield? 12. 12 years old. Scofield. Yeah, I don't know. He's always been my dog. So obviously, when he started having a little bit of seizures, or what we thought were seizures, Judith started doing research. At the time, we were watching a lot of Cesar Millan and all that. I wish we had misbehaving dogs because I think that in this day and age, with my internet popularity, I think that I keep on moving your mic so it's not in the way of the camera so people can see you.
Okay.
I think that with my internet popularity now, I think that we could get him to come to the house and educate
Caesar?
one of our dogs.
That would be amazing.
I know,
if you could get him to stop barking at the door.
No, but because we also want him to be.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so she started doing research, and Cesar Millan said that dogs are the 2 dogs or 3 dogs. 3 dogs is a pack.
Pack. Yeah.
All right. So dogs have to be one with nature. They have to be in a pack of 3, right? So we got Oliver, who looked like Animal, which actually kind of helped me too, as I was saying, because I was kind of super overly sad at the fact that I don't know, I couldn't control my emotions when it came to that, and it's just I don't deal well with death. Anyway, so we got him, and Chochi didn't get any better, and he didn't like Oliver, and Oliver didn't like him.
No,
so we went out and got another dog. His name Basher. Yeah.
And we got Basher for Oliver. And then we just figured, okay, well, Chochi's not going to like anybody that we bring. So then Oliver was this little energetic, very hyper, ran into the mirror.
Got 11 million loops.
I'm buying.
He fit right in because he became an internet sensation that went viral. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. 11 million
and
loops.
He was hyper. He had so much energy. And we knew that we needed to get him a friend.
Yeah. A similar.
Yeah. So then that's when we got Basher. The other Chihuahua.
Yep.
And then Basher Oliver ended up not liking Bashy.
Yeah.
And Oliver ended up being very similar to Ani.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like anybody.
He's very alpha.
Very alpha.
That was Matt and not Henry. Anyway, go on.
So then, so we got Bashy for Oliver. Oliver ends up not liking him. And then Bashy ends up liking Chochi.
And Chochi
ends up liking Bashy.
Because he looks the same.
You think so?
Well, they do. They're both, yeah.
Yeah, they do look very much the same.
Yeah.
But that might not be the reason why. I don't know.
Yeah,
who
knows?
We don't know.
Nobody knows.
But they love each other and are very inseparable.
To this day. To this day.
And then we got Louis because I wanted a Pomeranian because I love Pomeranians. I always wanted a Pomeranian. Louis? Lulu. Come here.
He's good.
He's sleeping.
Yeah.
So then
Jude wants to put Lulu in the podcast because Fwiz had Riley in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She thinks this is the Pomeranian podcast. May I say?
It's not the Pomeranian podcast.
I know, man. That's what you should call yours.
The Pomeranian podcast?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Why?
All right. So Judith wanted to do a pod. I don't want to jump around, so let's keep track of where we're at. Okay, we're talking about Louis, and the reason I'm only bringing this up is because you wanted to do a podcast, a dog podcast, or a podcast about dogs, and you were going to do that with Kat, which is Maven.
Yeah, it was an idea to have it with Kat.
Yeah, with Maven's better half. Yeah. Why didn't you end up doing it?
I just haven't.
You haven't, but you do still plan on doing it.
I plan on doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so. We got, in my opinion, the worst breed in the world. And I know there's a lot of Pomeranian lovers out there. And I want you to understand very clearly that I love
all dogs.
And I love Lulu or Louis as much as as much as anyone else because he's my son. But man, when it comes to the barking, I just cannot deal with the amount of yap that comes. He's like, yeah. It is incredible.
Yeah.
And every
it's
single
all Pomeranian.
It's all Pomeranians.
All.
And when I'm playing, games with Fwiz in the background, when Kayla leaves, you hear the dog just go nuts, wah, 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 like calling for her, oh, mom. And then when she comes in, she's like, mom. That breed is something about it that I don't
It's a hard
recommend.
breed.
Yeah.
I don't recommend everyone to get a Pomeranian.
No.
Definitely not.
No. Mm-hmm. It's just not. No.
Not you.
Dogs. No, it is. I like him. It's just he's just too much for me.
It's just for like a minute or two.
I know, but that minute was like 10 underwater. All right. So then after Louis, we got Henry.
We got Henry.
Yeah. And you guys saw it in the vlog how that went down. I once told Jude that I would want to have a Great Dane because once when I was 4 or 3, one of my dad's friends had a Great Dane called Samson or Sanson as it's named in Mexico or in Spanish. Sorry. And I remember hanging from his neck with both of my hands and just being carried by this thing. And I said, one day I would like to own that. But when I said that, I just thought, one day when I don't have any more dogs and, there's an opportunity to get a big dog, that's what I want. And at the time, our house wasn't big enough to have like a Great Dane, even though Great Danes are supposed to be apartment dogs. Unathletic,
lazy.
Little skinny, lazy dogs. Yeah. Anyway, we get Henry, who's a Great Dane Mastiff.
I wanted a Great Dane too, though.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah.
I always wanted a Great Dane.
Yeah. So she out of nowhere calls me and she says...
No, at first I sent you a picture of a golden doodle. I said, how about this one? And you thumbs down the picture.
Yeah. I didn't want any more dogs.
And then you said, show me a Great Dane that is the cow colors, which is the Harlequin. Mm-hmm. And then maybe I'll say yes. So then I looked at the breeders and I saw Henry. Mm-hmm. And he was the cow colors, the Harlequin.
Yeah.
And then I saw his birthday.
Yeah.
And his birthday was your birthday.
And then you were just meant to be. It was a sign.
So then I knew it was meant to be.
It was a sign.
Yeah.
Anyway, Henry is the most athletic, and I mean this. For his weight, for his height, which is, if he stands up and he's that like 3 inches taller than me. Okay, he's massive, but he clears a 5-foot wall like nothing.
In their backyard.
Yeah, in our backyard, like nothing. I'm talking about doesn't even need a head start or a running start. He literally he's got a 5-foot vertical is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he could literally be standing in front of it and just
jump right on top of it. Which is weird because from what I understand, Great Danes aren't supposed to be as athletic, and this guy is all muscle. I mean, you guys have seen him. I post pictures of him all the time. Yeah. Anyway, so then after that, we got Benji Pablo for your mom. It was a gift for your mom.
Yeah.
He was a golden doodle.
He's a golden doodle. And my mom wanted a dog. Mm-hmm. I think she was lonely.
Yeah.
And she really wanted this dog. And at the time, my mom was kind of staying with us because her house wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And then we kind of fell in love with the dog.
I fell in love with the dog.
We all did. Yeah. Henry fell in love with him. Yeah.
Because they're so rough. They roughhouse a lot.
Yes. And Henry didn't have anyone to do that with. Yeah. He would try to do it with Louis, but then Louis.
Henry would like headbutt like the little dogs, and they would go flying, and they just wanted none of it. So getting a big dog just happened to happen, and that's how we ended. Oh, and then we got Coco for Liv. Yeah. Because Liv said
I didn't want to get Coco.
No.
I didn't.
No.
But Liv always wanted her own dog. She would get upset because all the dogs would come to me. Yeah. But I would feed them. Yep. I would take care of them. Yep. I would let them out. Mm-hmm. I would walk them. Yep. So Liv wanted her own dog. And I told her to ask you about it. Yeah. And you ended up talking to her and you agreed to get Coco.
What am I going to say to my daughter? No.
Yeah. You say no all the time.
Yeah. But she was like, Dad, please. And I was like, of course. Whatever you need, Princesita. Whatever you need. So, yeah. And we are back. Sorry, we had to get up and move stuff for Henry. And then we got Benji Pablo. Mom was lonely. It's a gift. We fell in love with him. Yeah. And here we are.
And we
7 dogs.
We kept him.
7 dogs.
Yep.
This is
Louis.
Louis. Always smiling Louis.
Mm-hmm. My baby.
But cutest little thing until he starts fucking barking.
He won't bark if you're holding him, though.
Yeah.
It's because
Look
they
at
don't
him.
feel safe.
What do you mean? You don't feel safe. All right. So, all right. Where were we? What were we talking about? I got
Dogs.
distracted. Dogs.
Yeah.
So we ended up with 7 dogs, and
Yeah.
we are living happily ever after.
Yeah.
You know, Henry's is an amazing dog. I just like big dogs.
Yeah, I never liked big dogs. I was always a little dog person.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Never would I have thought to have a big dog. Mm-hmm. But
here
Henry
we
was
are.
there. Henry was there. Now we have Henry.
Okay. All right. Let's get to it. A lot of people wanted you to be on the podcast because they want to hear. Obviously, a lot of people wanted to hear what from your side, from your perspective, how it came to be.
Right.
So give it to us.
How did it come to be?
Yeah, give it to us from however far back you want to go. Just give it to. And I don't want to guide you through this because they've heard it from me so many times that you're here for this specific reason.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, as much as they like to hear about dogs, they're here to hear about OpTic. Yeah.
Sorry.
So
I don't think there was a start of OpTic for us. I think it just is a stream of events that all just kind of happened.
Give it to us.
So I think it all started when you got let go at your job back in 2009.
Yeah. And to be clear, it was a mutual disagreement between me and my manager.
Yeah.
Whose name we don't remember. Sherry.
Her name was Sherry.
The only people I remember from there is like this girl named Kelsey.
Yep.
This lady named Kelly.
Sherry was your manager.
Sherry's my manager.
Yep.
And this
Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of people. I remember a lot of people.
Yeah.
So basically, how we got to starting to work there was because we worked in the mortgage industry and we made lots of money. You made lots of money. You were really good. You're a top closer. And this was back when banks were giving mortgages to anyone.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Everything that you see in the movies
Yeah.
happened exactly like that, except that she and I had a front row seat to this thing happening. And I remember I was making cheese, right? I was making a lot of money.
Yes.
And I remember to give you an idea, and I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but as a closer, you were required to do, I believe, 30 loans a month.
Close 30 loans a month. Yeah.
Yeah, close 30 loans a month.
Yeah.
And I was doing
like 100, sometimes 200, I think, a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day I closed 63, and they got me on the company newsletter.
Yeah.
And it was just me going like this, right? Like
With your piles.
with my piles of just loans.
Yeah.
And it was called the 63 Mile High Pile.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was always a top performer there.
Yes.
Anyway, so sorry to interrupt.
So yeah, you were a top performer. I did the processing part.
Yeah.
And
You would get home and tell me, like, there's something wrong. We should not be doing this.
so yeah, before it even crashed.
Yeah. And I used to be like, shh.
Because that's the type of person that I am.
Yeah.
Like I know when something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm
You
the type
just
of
can't
person.
keep quiet
I
about it.
can't keep quiet.
Yeah.
You know that.
Even though it's our money.
Even though we were making money. Yeah. Everybody was making money.
Yeah.
So the mortgage crisis went, it was, everyone lost their jobs. Banks started closing down. We lost our jobs. Actually, you were one of the persons that you were able to keep your job until the very
obviously.
last because you were a top performer.
Yeah.
And then we had nice cars. We had to get rid of our nice cars. You had a BMW X3. I had a Mercedes Coupe. And then we went back to the 1996 Honda Civic.
Yeah. And that's when I started working at
that we
AIG.
met in.
Yeah.
And then that's when there were no jobs. I was able to find a job right away in the insurance business. And luckily I was able to get you in there. And obviously it was nothing. The pay was nothing compared to what we made in the mortgage industry. But I started working there maybe like 3 months. And then you started, I'd say like
A couple of months after that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you didn't like it. Because there was no room for advancement or bonuses.
Right.
And
Oh, it's money driven.
yeah, you're very money driven.
Do you think I'm a money driven person?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Because there's other people that weren't, that would leave, right at 4:30 and you would stay and do all your work. Actually, I think you would leave at 4:30 and still do all your work before.
And I wouldn't do it right.
Yeah.
I just, my mental capacity, it was just a dead end job in my opinion.
Yeah. So the insurance job was a dead end job. There was no room for advancement really. There was not room for bonus. There was no room the raises were 2% a year, every year. And the pay wasn't as great. So,
I went from making with bonuses like 150 to 175, I think is the most I've ever made in corporate, to 45 flat.
45,000 salary.
Flat with no bonuses, nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Maddie makes way more than that. Okay.
Yeah. So we weren't used to that money at all.
Yeah.
And then I was working really hard. I actually was doing really well in at the insurance place. Let's go behind you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was doing really well. I actually got to be a senior account analyst or account manager. I can't remember what the title was, but I enjoyed it and I knew that I had to do something.
Yep.
And then you weren't loving it. You hated it. That's when we shared one car, our 1996 Honda Civic that we met in.
That was such a to give you I just want you to picture what I used to drive to work in every single day, okay, to a job that I didn't like. As a very money driven person.
Yep.
I was in a car that didn't have any air conditioning.
Right. Because this is 2009.
Yeah, so it's super old, like do the math. 13-year-old. I'm not gonna do
1996. Yeah.
Yeah, 13-year-old car. The shift or the thing didn't have the
knob.
handle, the knob. It was just a spoke.
Yeah.
And it was sharp. So in the winter it would freeze. So it would hurt. Let's just say that I was just not happy about my life at the time. I always saw myself, even in high school. I always saw myself as like somebody who needed to have like all the nicer things.
Right.
I've always had this like view of myself as a successful person.
Right.
And I don't know why, but it's that's always in the back of my head. That's always been like that. I always knew that I was going to have money. I always knew there was gonna be no place in the world where I didn't have. You can't come up here, bro. Where I didn't live a life where I didn't have money. Yeah. Maybe it's the way that I grew up or whatever, but I just knew, You did. I did what?
I remember you telling me when we first met, or just our first year, that you were going to retire at what age did you say?
35.
35.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that.
I retired at 29.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say that you did.
Because I don't know. As much as OpTic is like job and work and it's tough and it's frustrating, I always thought that was not work.
Right.
I always thought it was like a passion of mine, so I never considered it work. So
yeah. So basically, you were driving that. I would borrow my sister's car, and because she would go to Bolivia, South America in the summer, so I would use her car, and if not, then we shared a car.
Yeah,
we shared a car for a long time.
Yep.
And while you were at work, you didn't like it, and you would leave. You would be the first person to leave. And you also didn't do your job very well. Because like at our job, they would give us errors. Yeah. And you had like the most errors.
Do you remember your login code?
No.
I do.
That was Washington Mutual.
Yeah, the number, the
for
code.
The phone, for the
3443 was mine.
I don't remember mine.
3443 is a number that you had to put into your phone to open up the lines.
Yeah.
To log in. It's like that's how you clocked in.
Yeah.
And I used to have to punch that to go take a piss. And I was like, I used to think that was so inhumane that they would keep track of how long you took at the bathroom.
Yeah.
What pissed me off the most about corporate America is that they give people, or they allow people to go have a smoke break for like 15 fucking minutes. And the second that I don't want to do nothing for 15 minutes, there's a big issue about it.
Yeah.
And I always used to think that was like super, one, unfair, two, like bullshit. So I hate corporate America from just on that basis. It was just so annoying that people got to, I was like, okay, so let me go harm myself and put myself in danger by smoking shit just so I can have an extra 45 minutes, because it was 15 minutes every 3 or every 2 hours. It was super, super annoying. Anyway, so me and the lady get into an argument. I fucking kick the door open. I walk out, and then you see me
You
walking
did that?
out.
No,
I didn't.
No. So the day came where we kind of knew that something was going to happen.
Yeah, we did.
But I would tell you to keep
the
it,
job,
because there was literally no jobs. And if there was a job that was open and somebody else was going to take it because somebody else was waiting for that job already, that has more experience and more, I don't know.
Likable personality.
Probably, yeah. So I knew there was going to be no jobs. We knew that because our careers were mortgage. And we knew that there was nothing else that we can do.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So then what happens?
So then you
get walked out.
Yep, you get walked out. So I watched you walk to your car with your box.
7 months pregnant.
7 months pregnant. And I was crying the whole time. I had a lot of friends there that were kind of like, making me feel better. Yeah, I watched you. And then you called me. And you told me everything was going to be okay. And
like a blanket of comfort, you just stopped crying.
No, I still cried. I actually cried every night. I would cry every night.
Yeah.
When
I was trying to sleep, I was like, I would give her one of these. I'm
no,
like, yo, chill.
I would secretly cry all the time.
Thank you for
because
that.
I had no idea what you were going to do with your life. Nothing. I had no idea because I didn't know I didn't know. I had no clue. And I knew what your passions were and stuff. Like you'd play video games and stuff, but I never thought that would be anything.
Yeah.
But
I know. Don't stop being annoying.
Okay, so I watched you leave, and then I stayed working.
Yeah.
I think I left, and that was August 14th.
OpTic Day.
OpTic Day.
You named it that.
I named it that because that was literally the last day that you worked. And
dove right into it. I said, I'm going to somehow, some way.
August 14th.
August 14th, 2009. Yeah. So let me ask you this, because I always ask myself this. In what world does a pregnant woman, 7 months pregnant woman, allows or is okay with her husband or significant other sitting around playing video games, not doing anything with no income coming in?
Well, that's why I say like this, it's a series of events that happened to let it be happened. So like there's no jobs. You had to start over. We had a baby.
Yep.
Who's going to take care of the child?
Yeah.
Who's going to bring in money? I knew I had a job and I had insurance and I was doing pretty good at my job.
Yeah.
And I moved up in my job and I was going to continue to do so as well. So I knew that I had to step up and do that. And that's what I was doing. And as far as you, I knew that you were going to take care of Olivia because it kind of happened at a good time.
Yeah.
Like 2 months before Olivia was born. So I knew that you would be home and you would take care of Olivia. And I knew that something would come along eventually. And so this is also at the time where the mortgage thing was happening. So everybody was losing their homes. And it's not that we lost our home. We chose. We
strategically let the home go.
Yes, we strategically said, okay, well, we're not going to pay it.
Yeah.
We're going to jump along this bandwagon that everybody was doing. So people were losing their homes, not having anywhere to go. We had somewhere to go if that ever happened.
Yeah.
But it just didn't make sense to pay our mortgage. So we chose not to pay our mortgage at the time when you lost your job. We had one car, and we're going to see where this was going to go. So then that also allowed Hector to stay home and allowed him to take care of Olivia. And he was playing video games.
Yeah, I remember having a phone call with, I think, Steel Series while I was trying to get a sponsorship for OpTic so they can give us $400 per event to get, you know, some sort of stipend for food or hotels. And I would have Olivia like on my shoulder, and I'll be on the phone like this. And I would hold up my phone with my shoulder, and then I'll have Olivia in the other one. And I remember her crying. I'd be like, I'm sorry, I take care of my daughter, and you know, whatever. And they're like, oh no, it's cool, blah blah blah. You know, we understand. But I remember taking business calls. And I always say that Olivia's going to be either two things. She's going to be an excellent businesswoman because of the amount of deals that she was a part of just by being there. So osmosis in a sense. And then she could be a criminal investigator because of the amount of First 48 that we watched. It was just solving crimes, you know. This is what we did. Solving crimes, play video games, and did that. Changed diapers.
Yep. So yeah, that's why I say it's a series of events that happened in that order that just let it happen. It's not that I let you play video games while you were watching Olivia, and you would play video games, you know. And then there, like I said, we strategically chose not to pay our house because a lot of people were doing it, and it just all happened like at a perfect timing in our story, because that also allowed you to do what you were going to be doing with OpTic, you know. And then we were able to stay in our home for
like a year and 2 years,
almost more,
3 years, like, without pain. Yeah, that's crazy.
So that was like, with him not being able to pay, well, we weren't paying. It was like we were already paying for our mortgage, but we weren't. So we didn't have that payment. Yeah. So then we didn't have that responsibility. So then we took advantage of it. Yep. We took huge advantage of it. And that's when you were able to do things that I didn't even know you were doing.
You just thought that I was out there playing video games?
I just thought you were playing video games.
That's what I mean. Like, how do you just let me?
Because you were taking care of Olivia.
Yeah.
You were taking care of Liv.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, he's doing something on the side. Okay, great. I never expected you to do something. I expected you to just take care of Olivia because I was doing my part and working. Yeah. So I never thought that you'd come up with something. Yeah. Never. You know, and I always would tell you that don't play video games. It's just going to sit there. Yeah. But that's why I never expected it from you.
Wait, you told me not to play video games?
No. I never thought you would. Yeah. Like do something like that. So it just all kind of happened. And then you would tell me some things and I kind of just I would laugh it off. I'd be like, okay.
What would you tell me? What was the phrase?
You show me the money. Because I literally, it's not that I didn't believe you. Yeah. But
it was such a far out concept.
Very far out.
Getting paid
I didn't
to
even
play
know
video games?
I didn't even know what YouTube was.
Yeah. You found out about YouTube through what?
Through work, when someone was watching the Charlie Bit Me finger thing. And that's why I'm like, what?
I think a lot of people got introduced to that. Anyway, I was going to say something funny.
But yeah, so there was no expectation of you. I didn't expect you to come up with something. I didn't expect you to do anything else. I literally thought you were going to be a stay-at-home dad. Because,
Fwiz still to this day calls me a stay-at-home dad. To this day, Fwiz calls me a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, so that's what I thought you were doing. I didn't know you were doing all this on the side. So I'm like, okay, if he's doing something on the side, then great. And then you started doing the face plates. I'm like, oh, great. He's making some extra money. Great. I didn't think that you were going to do this. And then you started doing more stuff. And then Liv started going with my mom. And then more money finally started coming in. And mind you, we're still driving our 1996 Honda Civic. And, Liv's 7-8 months. Yeah. and then like
Your mom started taking her because I had to make more videos.
Yes.
I had to make more videos to submit to Machinima to make more money. Because at the time, you couldn't make money off of YouTube unless you gave your videos to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really know that much, but
Yeah.
it's still, there was no like
Expectation.
I like we still weren't having the responsibility of paying the house because of the mortgage situation that everyone was in. So I was just holding my responsibility, paying the other bills and putting food on the table and paying for insurance and just maintaining that. So it's not that, it's just kind of like happened all at the perfect timing, I think. Because what if we didn't have, what if we did have a mortgage payment or rent? Like even if we were renting a place, but this was our house that we owned. And our first house. And what if we did have rent? And you probably would have had to work to pay rent. Yeah, it is. So I feel like everything just kind of happened for a reason. And it kind of led us to this path,
Yeah.
And that's kind of...
Fast forward like a couple of years and then like really get into like the business side from your perspective. Because you used to do our books. You used to be our bookkeeper. You used to be the one that did our books. You were an accountant, our in-house accountant that got everything together for the tax man. And I think you did Nate Shutt's books for like a year or two.
Yeah, I did for 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Tell us how it went.
So when I started, the sponsorships were coming in, the money was coming in. I always take responsibility, I guess, when I see like money coming in or like things done right. So I'd see money coming in and then I would just take it upon myself to be like, okay, this money came in and it's going out. We need to document. Like I was a processor. So in processing mortgages, you have to document everything. So I would just document everything. And I just started doing the books. I don't even think you told me to do them because I saw that you weren't doing them. So then I'm like,
somebody has to.
Someone has to. So I just started doing it. And then I just started doing it. And then I started doing Matt's because he was doing the same thing. And then he wasn't,
he had a lot of money.
And he was young.
Yeah.
And he didn't know. And just started doing his too. And
because taking it to H&R Block is not the best thing to do. Pay the extra $200 and get like a tax lawyer so he can help you set up your company, give you the tax breaks that you need in order to do that.
Yeah. So I started doing that. And then I would just watch you just, do all that stuff. And then I started taking care of Olivia.
Do you remember the first time that I got recognized in public? I do. It's clear as day.
No, I don't. Where were we?
Remember, we were in the mall.
Okay.
I don't know the name of the mall, but we were in the mall. And then I said, hey, you want to get Liv a toy? And then some kid raises he's an adult now, but he raises his head from behind the counter and he like heard my voice from Top 5 Kill Cams. And then he's like, are you OpTic Hecz? You don't remember that?
No.
I remember that clear as day. I was wearing the first ever OpTic shirt, the graffiti one with the drips that Omens did.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I don't know why.
No, I don't remember that.
The reason I'm asking is like, at what point did you say, like, holy shit, there's a movement happening here?
I didn't know there was a movement. So back in 2011, I thought you were just playing for fun. We still aren't, paying the mortgage. You're like traveling and tournaments. And I didn't really, it's like, oh, okay, he's going to travel. Okay, that sounds like fun. Go do your thing. Me and Hector's relationship, we just do our thing. Like he goes and has fun with his friends. I'll go and do stuff that I want to do. We do things together, but we do a lot of things separately. Yeah. Because he loves to do those things and I don't like to do those things, and I respect that. And I like to do certain things and he respects me and lets me do those things. So he was going to go on a trip and we trust each other like a lot. And he does his own thing. So he went on this trip and I didn't even know you were going from, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, that was the case.
Yes. Okay. So he was going on some tournament, and it was for $1 million. I had no idea. And I was at my mom's house with Olivia hanging out, and I get a text from your brother in the group text that says that OpTic's about to win this $1 million tournament. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I had no idea. And then I start Googling all this stuff. I'm like, what? This is real? Like, I didn't even, like, I thought it was just fun, because everybody, like, there's so many kids and adults that go on and they have their clans or their groups and they play. And I thought it literally was just that. Like, you were just having fun and playing. I never thought you'd win. I never thought it'd be something.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew. I remember it because it was September 4th, 2011. It was Labor Day weekend. It was my birthday weekend. Yeah. And I wasn't even like, I know it was Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend's usually my birthday too. Yeah. And I
was just gone for your birthday.
Yeah, but it was okay. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Because,
Well, I'm not apologizing, baby. I'm just saying.
No. So it was just... That's when I was like, what? And like, I started talking like to my brother about it. And then my brother knew all that stuff, but my brother never really would tell me. Like, I'm like, why didn't you tell me any of this stuff? So then that's when I knew. The first tournament. That's how I knew that it was a thing. When you guys won.
All right. I'm going to ask you this next question as a journalist would, not as me, as Hector. So just because I have to. At what point, or was there ever a time in which you saw Hector super stressed out of his mind? That he was worried about the business, worried about what our family life was like, because obviously, like, we were making money, but we weren't making like money.
No. So yeah, as years went on, I would do the books, and I'd see that there was no money coming in, like staying, because all the money would go to the players. All players, right? So I don't think I ever saw you like frustrated. I think I was the more frustrated one. Only because, like, where's this going? Like, I would see, I would see where the business was going, and I saw that all the players and everything would like start up their careers, and I saw that more money would come in, and then they'd get more money. And I struggled with seeing where your success was coming from. And the success was there. Money, no. We were comfortable. We lived comfortably. And that's why you started vlogging a lot more. So we could live a little bit more comfortably. Because more money that came in, it would go to them. But I would just see you more frustrated when there was more phone calls, more emails, just more work that you didn't like to do.
So that was by myself. I was doing it by the only other person that helped me throughout like 7 years was you on the back end. And then in 2017, that's when 2017? When did I start vlogging? I started vlogging because I knew that I was going to have to hire somebody to do that. And that's when Jay came in, and that's when we did the whole thing. All right, this next question is something that I have to ask because people are going to, say, well, you took it easy on her. This is a very touchy subject with a lot of the fans. At the end of 2017, we sold majority of OpTic. Okay. From your perspective, how do you feel about that? From your perspective?
Well, when you brought it up, you had brought it up a couple times. But I knew it was time. It was a perfect time for you to do it. It was perfect for the business, and it was perfect for our family. Like I said, money would come in, and everybody was growing. The business was growing. Everybody's careers were growing. And there was just no advancement for you, for us, for our family. Because you were always very selfless. You were never selfish with any money that came in. So all the money that would come in, like I said, many times would go to others. And you always felt that way. You always felt that they deserved it. And we would talk about that all the time. Because you would just pay them, even if you were left with nothing. And there were times where we were kind of left with like, we were short, but we knew that we had to pay them. We had to pay them first. And there were moments, when I was like, this is a good time, for the business and for us.
When you say for the business, what do you mean by that?
We didn't have enough money to keep OpTic going to where it needed to be. There was no way we would just get all these what were we going to do? Get all these more sponsorships, more, you know what I mean? We couldn't just keep getting sponsorships and, to pay for more teams. We couldn't do that. And we were kind of investing our own money into doing, or for OpTic, pretty much. So it was just a perfect time. What
were we going to do? Get a $13 million sponsorship to enter League of Legends?
I don't know. Like, exactly. Where were we going to get that money?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
So what do you think? Now, it's a year since. What do you think of the decision?
I think it's a great decision. There's been obviously ups and downs from, going into the corporate side. But that's any company. And it was just almost bound to happen, because that's what happens with family businesses. It is a family business. And I think you're still part of.
Yeah.
And it's a struggle. I think it's been a struggle a lot for some people. But I think it's a lot of things, moving from, the players from living with each other, seeing each other every day, to being on their own, kind of growing up. But I think it was obviously the best decision for us to do. And we've helped our family, and not just our family, but your brothers and sisters and your parents and my parents and my brothers and sisters as well. Because we moved everybody out here.
Yeah.
So I think, and then I get to see you a lot more now.
Well, you used to get to see me a lot back then. I didn't travel. Is that what you mean? Like, I didn't travel that much this year, right?
You didn't travel that much, but you were always on the phone, busy taking meetings.
Now I spend all my day at the studio.
Yeah, or in the
theater room,
watching movies.
I'm answering emails still in the theater room, but it's a little bit more laid back.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Obviously you something that you said earlier about, you kind of just felt like things needed to go or run its course. Obviously you had a very difficult childbirth with Olivia. You almost died. And then I remember you telling me that, as you were on the table, like dying, that you ran through, you had like an outer body experience, or like, tell us about that. Cause we're about to get into the supernatural. So.
Yeah, it really felt like that pretty much. Cause I think Olivia's, like when she was born, that was, I felt like it was a movie pretty much. I had a really tough labor. I ended up getting a C-section pretty much. And then I pretty much bled and I couldn't stop bleeding. So then,
because you're hemophiliac.
I'm a hemophiliac. So my blood doesn't know how to clot. So anytime I have a big either surgery or a big cut or anything like that, like my blood doesn't know how to clot. So I literally would just have to go to an emergency room and get blood.
Yeah, pumped into you.
Yeah.
But you said that your after death experience or life after what like?
So as I was this
is super interesting, guys. That's why I needed to
so basically when I was after giving birth, everything was fine. And then so the uterus pretty much to get a little doesn't stop pumping blood. It stops pumping blood when the baby's born.
But yours didn't.
Mine didn't. So mine just kept trying to give a baby that wasn't there blood. So what they try to do, nurses and doctors, what they try to do when that happens, because it happens a lot, is they just literally push down on your stomach. And they try to
trigger your body
it's
into
not there.
Yeah.
It's not there. So they were doing that. They were literally punching my stomach. I was screaming, and very painful. And I think you just walked in, right?
No,
You
I already told this. I don't want to cut you off, but
Okay.
I want you to tell them.
Story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want you to tell them about like how as you were dying, like you ran like a Rolodex of.
Oh yeah. So like right before, so they had to bring me
not
back.
laughing at that
They had to
situation.
bring
I'm
me
just-
back into surgery
Yeah.
after that. So I already had my C-section. They already closed me up. They had to reopen me and stop the bleeding. And they're rushing me through the halls. I had like tears running down my eyes. They had this doctor come in from like, he was like at his kid's basketball game. They called him in. And then, so we're in the OR again. And the doctor's telling me I'm going to do everything I can so you could be a mother. You know, your first time mom. He's like, tell me like all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm totally dying because this is like a movie.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to do everything I can to be so you could be the mother to your daughter. I'm like, okay, tears running down my eyes. And then I close my eyes and then he puts the mask on me to like let me sleep. And I just start seeing like so many people's faces. So like I saw the light from from above in the OR. I'm seeing people's faces like nonstop.
Yeah.
So it just,
Everybody that you ever met.
I just started seeing everybody.
Yeah.
And it was like people from like church. Like I used to go to church when I was little, like people from church, my obviously my family, my parents, friends, teachers, like just so many people I just started seeing.
Yeah.
And then I was out.
Yeah.
And then that's when I woke up in a room
Yeah.
in the dark.
Yeah.
And nobody was in there with me. I was really upset that no one stayed.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
What are you looking at me like as I...
Because nobody was there with
Yeah,
me.
nobody
Like I
told
was
me.
by myself.
I know, it's fucked up.
And so I had this tube down my throat and I couldn't even breathe. So I'm like hitting the
Yeah.
machines, and then the nurse comes in and I write down on a piece of paper, like, where am I?
Yeah.
I thought I didn't know where I was. I don't know if I was in heaven, in hell. I had no idea what the hell I was. And then finally she told me that you guys were downstairs.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of was like, okay.
The reason I asked that is because, when I've seen a movie once where somebody goes through this thing and all of a sudden they can see the future. So I wonder if that sort of experience that you had, and it happens all the time where people, have these, and maybe it's the drugs or maybe something, but you sort of have like this level of intuition that you never had before. And I always wonder whether or not you got this new level of intuition where you just say, let things go the way that they go.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. But I felt like something. Like it was
going to go somewhere.
It did, kind of. I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die. I really did.
That's crazy. All
Like
right.
in a movie.
We're going to move on to publicly asked questions, Jude. I hope that you're okay with that. Feel free to say yes or no if you want to answer them. Pass if you don't. You can literally do whatever you want or don't want. Let me go to my video. Pardon me. Pardon the hiccup. All right. First question is from God Optane Jack. What is the one thing you don't like about esports?
One thing I don't like. I think it's a little. I don't know exactly what to say.
Okay. Say it and be honest. It's the eavesdrop.
I think it's a little confusing. The broadcasting part. Like I know there's Twitch and everything, but I think maybe for like, I'm not like it's all computer based.
Yeah.
I think I wish it was just a little bit easier, like for broadcasting. I think because me as a
Spectator.
I'm not really. I don't really watch, but it's always hard for me to find out where to watch.
Where to watch.
I don't know. Maybe I just don't follow.
Yeah.
Like
No,
I have to go to Twitter.
Yeah.
To find out where to watch. So I think.
Yeah. sometimes our teams, like the Counter-Strike team, plays on Facebook Live. Sometimes they play on YouTube. Sometimes they play on Twitch. So it is super.
So I think that
Yeah.
it's the only thing.
Yeah. Well, look, your opinion matters more than like we, the people immersed in esports, know what we think we should do, but the people that matter are people like you who are, casuals that watch it. And as involved as you are in OpTic and as involved as you've been in this business, like you're still a spectator and don't really follow every single thing. So you never played a video game in your life aside from Crash Bandicoot, I don't think.
Sonic.
All right. Did you... Okay, AJ Lally O'Gunny says, did you approaching towards a career in gaming industries affect your relationship at first? That's how he wrote it. What I'm going to interpret this. As you saw my career getting more entrenched in esports, did that affect our relationship in any way?
I don't think so.
Me either.
No, because we've always kind of been, like, we've obviously based our relationship on trust. And you always, you go on your event, you go to the events. And I always did my job and, take care of Olivia and nothing. I don't think we've changed.
Nope.
Our relationship has changed at all. Do you?
No. I'm very black and white. When you agreed to start dating me, I knew that was it for me. What is Jude's favorite moment in OpTic gaming history?
Favorite moment?
Yeah.
I would have to say that one, the time where I found out
what it was.
Yeah, I was like, what? Wow, that's great. I think that would have to be
awesome.
Like, I remember where I was, what day it was, what time it was. Well, it was night, obviously. I remember watching it on my dad's DLP TV, like, figuring out.
All right. Jeremy wants to know if Jude would have named OpTic, what would you have named OpTic if OpTic wasn't the name? If you would have had to name the team, what would you name it?
Me?
Yeah.
I would have never thought of that question because I'm not the one who made it.
Yeah.
So,
if you were to start your own esports team, what would you name it?
It's a hard question.
It is. So nothing?
I don't play esports, so what would I name?
Okay, what would you name your team of dogs? If your dogs were competing in who can eat the most, what would you name the team of dogs? It's a supercar. I wouldn't even know what to name.
I wouldn't know.
Plague would be my answer to that.
Yeah, that's because that was like
my first one.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, you guys have. Okay, this is Christian Bates Mondo. Oh, Mondo, that's my boy. He's always at the events. He's part of the hype squad. He's super solid dude. Obviously, you guys have been through a lot. How have you guys been able to keep your marriage going? And Jude, before the gaming career took off, how did you know that you can trust him making money off of games after he quit his job? All right, so don't answer the second one because we talked about it all day.
Yeah.
So obviously, you guys have been through a lot. How have you guys been able to keep your marriage going? Through a lot. A lot of people ask me, is like, when I say how long we've been together, people are always like, how? And I always answer is like, by fighting and arguing a lot. And I'm not saying that we do that on a daily basis, but when we do, I think it boils down to honesty, right? And if you feel a certain way, you're going to tell me how you feel. And if I feel a certain way,
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Honestly. Just honesty. So honesty is the
trust.
The way. And trust.
Of course.
Yeah. For me, it's always boiled down to the fact that there isn't another woman in this world that I could ever be with. So there's nothing that either of us can say or do to each other. I mean, aside from the bad shit that it's not allowed, but obviously, that would put us in a position to where I'm like, I'm never going to want to talk to you again. So to me, it's as black and white as that. I was like, she's the one that I'm going to be with forever. So why stay mad at something that is meaningless? You? I
would say the same.
Yep. Very good.
Yep.
All right. Let me see.
Honesty and trust.
We're going to do one more. All right. How do you feel about how big of a following OpTic has, and does it get overwhelming at times? So have you experienced how big OpTic is? Have you had specific impact in that sort of scenario?
I don't think I have. I think it's because I kind of stay out of the,
Limelight.
I kind of stay out of the public.
Is there a reason for that?
No, kind of. Well, you've always kind of been like a protective guy, and you don't want, like, you don't know if you want Olivia in front of a camera.
Yeah.
You don't want us for our safety, pretty much.
Well, it's not necessarily for the safety, but in my opinion, and this is something that I'm very, very strict about. I always knew that I chose to be a public person. I chose to put my face on camera, and luckily I've been able to become internet popular to where I can make a living off of it. I never would assume that she would want to be a public personality. Throughout the year, she sort of became one because she's been in the background and all that. But I've never like forced the camera on her. And there's nothing wrong with people that do that. And families have this sort of YouTube is YouTube has an abundance of families that share everything. For me, my privacy has been more about me being a protector and knowing that if there's one thing in life that I cannot fuck up or cannot take any liberties with in terms of safety or well-being is my family. And the way that I see things, and I've always seen things, is that, let's say, for example, swatting has calmed down a bit, but it was really bad. It got so bad that somebody died. A father of two died because somebody swatted him, and he opened the door, and the cop, an untrained cop, I'm assuming, like literally blasted the dude and unfortunately. And the way that I always see that scenario unfolding in my house is, somebody's going to call it in. Somebody's going to come and knock, if our address gets out. Somebody's going to come in. Somebody's going to knock on the door, and it's going to be cops. Cops are going to be surrounding the house because they're swatting, because they think there's somebody that I'm in here with a gun, drunk, trying to beat you up or trying to, do bad things. And the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to be, reactive to it. They're going to try to protect. The cops are, because that's their job, to protect us. And for me, coming from where I came in Juarez and growing up the way that I did, and I've always been very clear about that. Like, cops to me are a sort of thing that people take for granted, and it isn't until you live and you grow up in a place where if you call the cops, they won't show up, or if they do, it's going to be an hour after you called. Because that's how it was in Juarez. Like, people would try to break into our homes, like into our house all the time, and we would call the cops, and they would never show up. So knowing that cops do this, like, I have the utmost respect and all that. So obviously, there's times where cops have fucked up, and anyway, there are bad cops out there, is what I'm saying. But if they come in here and they start knocking, the first thing they're gonna do, they're gonna hear the dogs barking, and when they see a beast like Henry coming at them, they're gonna off him. And I cannot afford that sort of mistake to happen. So that's why I've always been super protective. That's why I always, like, sometimes get mad at you for, posting the outside of our house or doing certain things that I just, you necessarily don't see that because you're a good person and you just assume that everybody out there is good, to a certain extent. Yeah. Me, I cannot afford those mistakes. Yeah. So that's why. Yep. Yep. But yeah, anyway, do you have anything else that you want to talk about while on the podcast? Any projects that you're working on that you're super happy about?
Projects.
Yeah, like, when's your podcast launching, if it is launching? I know you want to do some dog merch. I mean, I think you're already doing dog merch. So you want to plug that in? Yeah. Hit it. This is your opportunity. A lot of people are going to be watching this. Say, where can people find you?
Mainly on my Instagram, JUD3VILL, and that all the information is there.
If they want to buy dog shirts and shit. Very cool. Anything else?
Do you have anything else?
No, I think I'm good. I think we covered a lot. I think that we're going to generate a lot of questions, which will prompt you to come on a second time. And I do like the fact that you're, I'm not saying that I didn't have confidence in you, but you did so good that I'm actually kind of proud of you. For a person that's never on camera, you did very well.
I was very nervous.
Who was very nervous?
I was.
She says that I make people nervous. I disagree.
You do.
Matt, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Matt agrees.
Yeah.
But why though? You've been married to me for 17 years.
Because you have very high expectations. And when someone either messes up or does something that the way that you don't want, you become very upset.
Yeah. Like, when you say upset, do I turn green and start smashing shit?
No, you just get upset. I mean, you get upset at someone like driving bad, like on the road. You get upset if
they're being irresponsible. There's people with kids driving.
But I know, but you just get upset a lot of at little things, and I don't want to mess up.
Come on,
in a way.
Yeah, she can't turn left when I'm in the car across a lane.
I don't know what it is. You just, I think you make me overthink.
Yeah.
And then I mess up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, we'll end it on that little quirk. Let me ask one more thing that I'm sure I saw somebody ask. Is there anything that you want to tell them that they don't know about? What's something about me that they don't know about me? Yeah. You can say nothing. That's fine. Too much?
Thinking. No, a lot of people know about I'm just trying to think.
I think the angry thing would be like the only thing.
That you're
or the
angry?
fact that I get mad at the little thing. So I guess you did answer that question. Anything else that comes to mind? Do I snore?
Yeah.
Do I still snore?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. A couple times a week.
Do you wake me up when I do it?
Kind of.
Do you really?
Or I just turn the other way.
Didn't know. I thought I stopped snoring a long time ago. You know what that means? Is that it means that I'm getting fatter and fatter by the day.
I could have told you that though.
Yeah. Do you think I'm the heaviest I've ever been? You still find me cute though, right?
Yeah. Well, it's because you could lose it pretty quick.
Yeah, that's
You
facts.
haven't been to the gym since May.
Since May.
Yeah, I've been
You're keeping track. That's very cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just love eating, obviously.
You stop.
No. Yeah, I'm going to stop
Small
eating.
portions. You can eat the same, just smaller portions.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, we'll end it on that little thing. If you guys have any more questions for us, leave them in the comment section down below. Follow her on Twitter. My Twitter's there. She also has an Instagram. I have Instagram. Hers is more about dogs more than anything. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, please remember to not leave without leaving a like. Even if you're listening on podcast audio platforms, make sure to follow and leave a rating. And yeah, thank you, baby. I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'll have you. We'll end it right there. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next one.